Welcome, my name is Lexi Jong and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. Today we are going to look at a couple of items from Laura Mercier. So I picked up one of the new Caviar eye sticks and the new highlight, and I actually don't wear much from Laura Mercier. It's just a brand that I haven't really used a lot in a while. This is the Rose Glow Illuminating Powder, but this really intrigued me. This is the new Rose Glow Caviar Stick in Wild Rose. So let me swatch that for you. The reason these intrigued me is because these shades in the Rose Glow collection are supposed to be self-adjusting so that they work on any skin tone and they balance the warm and the cool shades in your skin so that you end up with kind of like this rose glow. And, you know, the concept just seemed very intriguing. So at first I thought it was just the highlighter that was supposed to be self-adjusting, but apparently, according to the Laura Mercier website, the actual pigments that they use for the coloration of these products in the Rose Glow collection are supposed to be like a demi-transparent self-adjusting mica that is able to adjust to all skin tones. And it seems a little unlikely to me, but I wanted to try it out. So I do have some of the, previous Caviar sticks. They're a great, eye crayon in my opinion. I usually use them for like all over color or a base shade. You can use them as like eyeliner and so forth. And I don't think I've ever tried a Laura Mercier highlighter. So we're gonna test these out today, and I have most of my makeup done, but I'm gonna bring you in closer right now, and we're gonna start off with the Caviar stick. All right, so for the Caviar stick, I'm going to just kind of start by smudging this along the lash line here and putting it probably about halfway up the eyelid. So all of the shades in the Rose Glow collection are going to be like a rose hue. This one looked to be the lightest, most champagne, because I'm not huge on like pink shades on my eyelid. It has to be a really particular shade and tone for me to really like it. And I wasn't, I just wasn't sure if I liked the shades enough, but they've got a huge range of these like rosy shades, some that are a little bit plummy, so I think they have a wide range. So this is Wild Rose on one eye, and this is the Sonia G Smudger one that I've been using. So I wanted something firm to kind of, spread it out. So this is Wild Rose on both of the eyelids. So I'm going to take one of I have some minis. This is the shade Amethyst. Let me just show you what that one looks like. I'm going to take the Sonia G Smudger 2, which you can see has a finer point, and I'm going to use this for eyeliner. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of this to the upper lash line. So I added what was left on the brush to the lower lash line, but I'm going to go in with the Wild Rose shade and add a little bit more for the lower lash line here. And I'm actually going a little bit lower. I put it like really close to the lash line before, and this time I'm just gonna go slightly below that. So that's the finished eye look. I have to say the Amethyst shade that I use, that's one of the like originals, or maybe not original, but it's one of the older version ones, and mine's about almost 2 years old. And it's still working. It is a little bit drier and less creamy than this new one here is, but overall it's still holding up really well for, its age and so forth. So just a little bit about this. There is a click closure. You can see that it is domed here, and just snap this on. These have an 18-month shelf life, which means my Amethyst one is nearing the end. And they're 1.64 grams or 0.05 ounces. And these are made in the US. So yeah, again, this is a shade on my hand versus on my eyes. And I don't really know if it's really truly going to be self-adjusting, but I do think it's an interesting idea. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highlight. So we're going to place the highlight on with this brush. This is from the Kyoto, I think it's the premium series. So I've got some on here. You can see it easily came up. I'm going to put some just right here. Do you see that sheen? And I thought one of the best ways to see how this truly works is to kind of put it all over. So this side, we've got just the highlight. And on this side, we're going to apply it loosely as a finishing powder. So I'm going to take my big P8 brush and I'm just dabbing it in here because this is a really light, fluffy brush. I don't want to make it too pigmented, but let's just see how that looks. So side with just the highlight versus all over. You can see I have this radiance all over. That's just a tiny, tiny bit of product. What do you think of the tone though? I mean, this is what it looks like on my hand. This is what it looks like in the pan. You can see that they do look a little bit different. You know, in my opinion, the powder looks rosier in the pan than it does on my hand. Let's just swatch that again right next to it. And then I'm gonna take the Sisley bronzer and I'm just gonna make a big old swatch of this right, well, let's put it right here. And we're gonna put the highlight over there and just see what the tones look like on that. Okay, so we got the highlight. You can see it's more vibrant, but obviously the bronzer is a lot warmer than my skin tone. I mean, do you think it is self-adjusting? I'm not even truly sure exactly what it means when they say self-adjusting, because what I perceive to be self-adjusting, to me, like, this isn't self-adjusting. To me, this is more just like you've got a blend of different shades, kind of all mixed together, different shades and reflections in those pigments. And because of your natural skin tone, you know, certain shades are more enhanced than others. To me, that's what my guess is for this product. Whereas when I think of the word self-adjusting, I think of something actually changing. And I don't think the colors actually look different on the different skin tones. I just feel like certain aspects of it are a little bit more emphasized because of the contrast and so forth. So I don't know. I can't really test to see whether it's truly self-adjusting, but in my opinion, it's probably not. It's probably kind of like a little bit of a gimmicky saying. But I do think that perhaps they have blended together a variety of different like pigments and so forth that do allow it to work on a wider variety of skin tones. So I'm very curious to see how this works on other people. I'm sorry, I wish I could test it out and see how it works on a variety of others. Unfortunately, that's not something I can do at this time, but yeah, this is it. So I would love to know what you guys think of it as a finishing powder versus as a highlight. And the Caviar eye stick. So the Caviar eye sticks are supposed to last up to 12 hours. And I will leave an update in this video right here, just kind of showing you how, or telling you how long they have lasted on me without creasing. But with the other shades in the Laura Mercier Caviar eye sticks, you know, they typically are fairly long wearing for me. I wouldn't say 12 hours, but they are a long wearing formula and they do hold up throughout the day typically. All right, so here is everything from a distance. So on this side, we have just the highlighter as the highlight up here. And I have to say, I like the way it looks. I wasn't sure if it was gonna end up being too dark for me, but I don't think it is. You know, I do think that it has that kind of that rose gold appearance to it, but it's not too dark. And this is the highlighter as the finishing powder. And I think when you're looking straight on, it doesn't really look like, you know, it's like shimmery or anything, but when the light hits it a certain way, that's kind of when you see the sheen and so forth. So it's not like an obvious highlight per se. And depending on what look you're going for, if you're going for like one of those like really dewy skin looks, this could actually be a good way to produce that. I think it actually has a very nice tone. All right, and I just wanted to give you a few comparisons for the highlighter. So this here is the Laura Mercier, and you can see that it is more of a rosy gold champagne. So I would say on me, it has a little bit more of a champagne base with a touch of rose gold. So one of the ones I wanted to compare this to is the Pat McGrath, which is called Champagne Gold. This is the one that came out during the holidays. It goes on much more sheerly than this, but this is a really built up color. You can see straight away that the Pat McGrath has a different tone to it. You know, there's a little bit more of a browner base to it, and it's not only is it deeper, it's also cooler in tone. This is the Givenchy highlighter that I just recently purchased in Shimmery Pink. And you can see that this one has a lot more of an ivory base to it, more of a white base compared to more of this champagne base in the Laura Mercier. And they probably both have about the same amount of pink, but the Laura Mercier has, you know, a touch of gold to it as well. Another one that I thought might be similar here, this is the Les Paillettes from Chantecaille. So this is just the pink shade. You can see how different those are. And then I'm gonna mix the pink and the gold together so you can kind of see what those look like. You can see that that's gonna be a lot more golden than the Laura Mercier. I also have this one from Shiseido, and Shiseido is actually the parent company for Laura Mercier, I believe. Yes, it is. So this one here is in Medusa Pink. You can barely see it there. This is the Westman Atelier in Peau de Rosé. Definitely much more pink. So this one here is Chanel's Eclat du Désert. This is the one that's like really powdery. All right, so there's that. There's the Laura Mercier. Let me do the Laura Mercier right below it. Here's the Laura Mercier. Those are probably gonna be my two closest. And then this one's the Chanel Metal Peach, which I think the tones of this are not going to quite go, but I wanted to try it out anyway. You can see, you know, this Chanel one goes on much, much more sheerly on the skin. It's one of those more hard pressed ones, but you can see that the tones of it are a little bit more golden and peachy than the Laura Mercier. Yeah, I really think the Eclat du Désert from Chanel is the closest match out of highlighters that I own. Now, as for the self-adjusting claim, I really don't know. I don't know how to truly test that. I'm not sure what they mean by self-adjusting versus what I imply self-adjusting to mean to me. So it's a little bit hard to give an accurate assessment of that without more details. But my guess is just that there's a blend of pigments in there that, you know, would suit a variety of skin tones, and hopefully, you know, the certain ones are emphasized more so depending on what the skin tone base is and so forth. So it is potentially something that could work well for a wide variety of skin tones. For something to be truly universal, I personally don't really believe that anything is completely universal, but it is something that could potentially work for a lot of skin tones. As for the Caviar Eye Stick, again, I will leave an update as to how this one in particular wore. According to the Laura Mercier customer service team, the actual formula of these is the same as the other ones, but this is a new finish. So you can see that there's kind of like this soft shimmer. So it is a shimmery formula, but it's a little bit softer. And again, it's supposed to have those self-adjusting properties, which is not present in the other lines, the other finishes. So my guess again is just that it's a blend of a variety of pigments to create that. So that sums up my thoughts on these Laura Mercier products. I was very interested in trying them out. Just a few more details. The illuminator, so you can see you've got the rose gold packaging, just like you do on the Caviar Eye Stick. It is a fingerprint magnet, as all packaging like that is. And you have a mirror. It does come with a little plastic cover to go on top, and you have a magnetic closure. It's not a super strong magnet, but it's sufficient. And this has a 2-year shelf life, and it's 6 grams or 0.2 ounces, and it's made in Italy. And I have to say that the highlighter, I like it. You know, I think it gives a nice look. I actually kind of like it both ways, just depending what I'm going for. Probably wouldn't really put it down this low again, but I do like having the whole cheek sort of, you know, emphasize a little bit when the light catches it. So I do think it's something that I would use maybe in a broader area than some other highlights. And the Caviar Stick, I like this color. I think it's going to work well with other, you know, eye products that I have. This would make a nice light base to use for the summer. And this product, you know, there's a slight tackiness to the lids when you touch it. Not tacky, like sticky, so like something's not gonna stick to it, but you can feel it. You can feel a little slight tackiness to it, which does allow this product to be used well as an eye primer. So you can use this kind of as a base and apply some other products that perhaps need some extra adhesive, essentially, such as like something more glittery or so forth. And this will help with it. Obviously not as strong as something like a glitter glue or something, but if you do have certain shades or shimmery shades that perhaps are a little bit prone to fallout, this could potentially help with that. And yes, I have used these sticks in the past for, you know, an eyeshadow base and then add some more shimmery shades on top. And that has worked very effectively for me. And that sums up everything for today. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I will see you very soon. Have a great day.